Hello, and welcome, brave adventurers, to the legendary Whispering Wilds. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine you're standing right here with me, beneath a canopy of leaves so green they look like they've been painted by a magical artist. The air is warm and smells of wet earth, sweet blossoms, and something else, ... something wild and ancient. This is the heart of the great jungle, a place where rivers whisper secrets and mountains guard forgotten treasures. And this epic tale, told by gallant chronicles, is a journey into the life of one of its most remarkable inhabitants. Our story begins in a hidden valley, nestled between two towering peaks known as the Twin Sentinels. This valley was home to the most unusual and wonderful of creatures, and among them lived a young, rather timid tortoise named Ponder. Now, you might think a tortoise would be slow and dull, but Ponder was anything but. His shell was a magnificent mosaic of mossy green and speckled gold, and his eyes, a deep, knowing brown, held a spark of boundless curiosity. He was a thinker, a ponderer by name and nature, but what he longed for most was to be brave. To be like the heroes in the tales he heard the other animals tell. One particular morning, Ponder sat by the sparkling crystal stream, watching a flash of electric blue and scarlet zip past him. It was Pip, a parrot with a wit as sharp as his beak. Pip was the jungle's official newsbearer, a bit of a gossip, and always the first to know everything. Ponder, Pip squawked, landing on a low-hanging branch. Have you heard? The great mango tree's fruit is gone. All of it. A whole season's worth vanished overnight. Ponder's eyes widened. The great mango tree was the jungle's most cherished landmark. Fruit, a delicacy that sustained the entire community through the lean seasons. For it to be gone was a disaster. Suddenly, a thunderous roar echoed through the valley, not of anger, but of deep concern. It was a sound that could only come from one magnificent creature, Leo, the lion. Leo was the acknowledged leader of the Whispering Wilds, not just because he was strong and fast, but because he was brave and just. He was the kind of lion who would share his last meal and defend the smallest creature. His mane was the color of a setting sun, and his gaze was steady and true. Ponder, with his slow and steady gait, made his way to the gathering of animals near the great mango tree. There, he saw everyone in a state of dismay. The wise old elephant, Elara, her tusks polished by time and her memory as vast as the jungle itself, stood with a sorrowful expression. Her trunk, usually raised in greeting, now hung low. Kiko was in his element. He zipped ahead, using a long vine to test the ground before landing on a solid root. He called back to the others, a series of chattering hoots that meant safe path this way. But Ponder, despite his slow and steady nature, found himself in a pickle. A thick patch of mud had a hold of his shell, and no matter how hard he pulled, he couldn't get free. He was stuck. "Help!" he called out. Leo was there in an instant, but he was too big. His weight would only sink him further. Kiko, from above, saw the problem. "I have an idea," he chattered. "Barnaby, gather some of those long, strong swamp reeds. We can weave them into a sort of mat for Leo to stand on. Pip, find some strong, thin vines. It was a true act of teamwork. Barnaby quickly gathered the reeds, his fast movements a blur. Pip, with his keen eye, found the perfect vines. Working together, Kiko and Pip wove a makeshift rescue mat. Leo carefully stepped onto it and, using all his mighty strength, pulled on a vine that Kiko had wrapped around Ponder's shell. With a satisfying slurp, Ponder was free. "Thank you, my friends," Ponder said, a wave of gratitude washing over him. "I was so focused on just getting through, I forgot to ask for help." "Teamwork," Leo said, with a warm smile. "The greatest strength is not in a single paw or wing, but in how we lift each other up." This is an important lesson, friends of Gallant Chronicles, and one that resonates deeply throughout the animal kingdom. Animals like African buffalo and elephants stick together in herds for protection and to help the weak. Just like a group of meerkats, who have a system of lookouts to warn each other of danger. Our heroes were learning that their individual skills were amplified when they worked as one. The journey continued, and soon they reached the foothills of the Shadow Mountains. The jungle here was different. The trees were gnarled and ancient, their branches twisted into strange shapes. It was here that Barnaby's curiosity became their greatest asset. "Look!" Barnaby exclaimed, his nose twitching wildly near a cluster of boulders. "Do you smell that? It's mango, but a faint, faint scent." Ponder shuffled forward, his keen eyesight noticing something glinting beneath a rock. It was a single, golden mango pit, polished and clean. "Someone has been here," Leo said, his voice low. "But why would they leave just one pit?" "Wait a minute," Kiko said, swinging down. He picked up the pit and inspected it. "Look at this. There are tiny carvings on it. It's a map." The carvings were so small, almost invisible. But with Kiko's sharp eyes and nimble fingers, he could trace them. It was a series of lines and symbols that led up the mountain, towards a place marked with a strange, swirling symbol. Pip, who had been circling above, suddenly squawked, "I see something. A shimmer on the mountainside. It's gone now, but I'm sure of it." This was where the mystery began to truly deepen. Who would take all the mangoes and leave a map? And what was that strange shimmer? Our heroes began their ascent. The climb was steep and treacherous. Ponder, with his heavy shell, struggled the most. But he didn't give up. He remembered Alara's words and the smooth river stone in his pack, a reminder of the home he was fighting for. He focused on each step, his breathing slow and steady, a testament to his resilience. Did you know that some tortoises can live for over 100 years? Their slow pace is a natural advantage, allowing them to conserve energy and outlast many other creatures. Ponder was living proof of this fact. They finally reached the summit and found a hidden cave entrance, its mouth shrouded in thick vines. The swirling symbol from the mango pit map was etched above the entrance. Inside, the air was cool and smelled of something sweet. And then they saw it. Piles and piles of mangoes stacked neatly in a cavern, glowing with a soft, ethereal light. But what was even more surprising was the creature guarding them. It wasn't a monster or a thief. It was a small, timid creature with long, spidery legs, covered in beautiful, shimmering scales that changed color with the light. He was a forest goblin, a creature of myth and legend in the whispering wilds. He sat hunched over a pile of mangoes, polishing them with a soft leaf. Who are you? Who are you? Leo asked, his voice gentle. The goblin flinched and cowered. I am Flicker. I am not a thief. I didn't steal them. I'm saving them. Barnaby's curiosity overcame his fear. Saving them from what? Flicker, still trembling, pointed a long, bony finger at the cavern wall. On it, painted with some kind of glowing fungus, was a story. It told of a coming blight, a terrible plant disease that would spread through the whispering wilds and destroy all the fruit-bearing trees, including the great mango tree. Flicker, who lived deep within the mountain and was sensitive to the subtle energies of the forest, had seen the signs in the air and in the water. He had spent the last few weeks secretly gathering all the mangoes he could to save them from the coming sickness. I didn't know how to tell anyone, Flicker stammered, his voice a low, musical hum. My people are so rarely seen. I just wanted to save the jungle. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to cause a panic. The heroes stood in silence, the truth of the situation sinking in. Flicker wasn't a villain. He was a hero, a quiet protector who acted alone because he was afraid to be seen. This is the turning point, friends, the climax of our gallant chronicles. It's a moment where all the lessons of our heroes came to a head. The initial assumption was that a crime had been committed. The rising action was a grand adventure to find the culprit. But the climax was the shocking revelation that the truth was far more complex than a simple case of theft. Leo, the brave leader, was the first to speak. Flicker, you acted with great courage and kindness. Your heart was in the right place. But we must be honest with the others. They must know the truth about the coming blight. It is only together that we can defeat it. Flicker looked down, ashamed. I didn't know how. I am small and strange. Ponder, the loyal tortoise, shuffled forward. He looked at Flicker, and he saw a part of himself, timid creature who longed to be brave. Flicker, Ponder said, his voice stronger than he'd ever heard it. You are not strange. You are a hero, and you are not alone. We are a team, and if you are honest with us, we can find a way to save the jungle together. Flicker looked up, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. With the truth now revealed, the final part of our journey began. The heroes, now joined by Flicker, returned to the whispering wilds. They told Elara and the other animals about the coming blight and Flicker's selfless act. At first, there was confusion, then amazement, and finally, a surge of gratitude. Lara, the wise elephant, listened to Flicker's explanation. She recalled an ancient tale, one passed down through generations of elephants, about a glowing fungus that could neutralize the blight. But the fungus only grew on the highest, most inaccessible peak of the Shadow Mountains, a place known as the Sunken Peak. And so, the community worked together. Kiko, the clever monkey, used his knowledge of the forest to find the best climbing vines. Barnaby, the curious rabbit, used his incredible sense of smell to track the hidden trails. Pip, the funny parrot, scouted from above, guiding the group. Ponder, the loyal tortoise, carried a small basket of the special glowing mangoes to use as a light source in the dark mountain crevices. And Leo, the brave lion, protected them all from any dangers they might encounter. It was a race against time, a challenge that demanded every ounce of their collective strength and kindness. They learned that honesty was not just about telling the truth, but about being true to themselves and others. Flicker learned to trust, and the other animals learned to see past appearances. They reached the sunken peak and found the glowing fungus. With Ponder's careful guidance, they gathered it, and with Elara's wisdom, they concocted a solution that would protect the trees. The resolution, the final act of this incredible story, was a celebration. The animals of the Whispering Wilds worked together to spread the protective solution throughout the forest. The blight came, but because of their teamwork, it was neutralized. The great mango tree and all the other fruit-bearing trees were saved. Flicker, no longer a hermit, was now a respected member of the community. He taught the animals about the delicate balance of the forest, sharing facts about the interconnected web of life. From the smallest insect to the tallest tree. For example, he explained how the fungus they used was part of a larger, symbiotic relationship with the mountain rocks, and that without it, the mountain itself would be less stable. Ponder, the tortoise, had found his courage. He was no longer just a thinker, but a hero. He learned that bravery wasn't about being fearless, but about doing the right thing even when you are afraid. He would often share his adventure with the younger animals, always ending his stories with a smile. "This is a tale of friendship," he would say, "of honesty and of courage." And it all began when a curious tortoise decided to take a very long walk. The Whispering Wilds flourished, a testament to what happens when creatures of all shapes and sizes, with all their unique strengths and weaknesses, come together for a common cause. And so, our gallant chronicle's tale ends here, but remember, the spirit of adventure, teamwork, and kindness lives on in every rustle of a leaf and every song of a bird in the great wide world. Thank you for listening, and may your own journeys be filled with as much wonder as the one we just shared.